crafters. In tonight's video, we're going to be making a never-ending card using the Jungle Pals Cling Stamp Set in the Jungle Dies. Those can be found in the Sale-a-bration Brochure. I got my set for free with a $50 purchase, and you can too. I made a never-ending card about 1.5 years ago using the standard dimensions for a card. I recently saw Liza Curcio make one using the 6-inch dimension for the card. And that's what we're going to make tonight. Hi, I'm Joan and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and I created this video for Joan's Simple Paper Crafts found right here on YouTube. If you're new here, I want to thank you for stopping by, and if you're a returning guest, welcome back. Be sure to subscribe by clicking the subscribe button below. That way you won't miss when I post a video, which is typically once a week. Now give me a few seconds to turn the camera down and we'll get started. Here's the card we're going to be making tonight, and I think the Jungle Pals really work with this card. It's a never-ending card, and you open this up like this, and then you just keep opening it and flipping. And it's this way, and then this way, and then this way, and you're back to the beginning. I didn't put any type of sentiment on there to tie it down to like a birthday or anything like that, because it's going to a girl who's having some surgery. She's a very young girl, and it's very serious, and it has been requested that we send some cards to her, and so I've got this one for her. We use the Jungle Pals right here, and I didn't use the Lemo. I didn't find it anywhere that I wanted it to work, and then I used the dies. I used almost all the dies here, of course not the Lemo. Oh, I am going to use this one again. That's the tiger. We'll go ahead and get started. First, I'm going to have us do some work where we use our blending brush, and I want this to be the sky that was in on all those cards. And I've got all of them done but one, because I wanted to show you how to do it. So let me get my ink out here. And I'm going to use Azure Afternoon. And if I can do this without getting ink on me, simply what I want to do is I want to load this up with some ink. And then I'm going to start off on the side here because I don't want it to dark mark there. And we're just going to lightly brush it. And I'm just going to go in circles. And you can build the color. And I'll come in a little bit more, but I don't want much more color than what's on here. But if I wanted to get it as dark as this, I would just keep going over until I got to the right shade. And now I'm just going to let this sit and dry, because I'm going to have to do some stamping on here or use some glue, and it won't stick to that wet paint. I think I'm done with this, so I'm going to put that away for right now. And I'm going to go ahead, put it in the sink with water, and rinse all that ink out of there. I'll be right back. Now we'll get started. Let me get my silicone mat, and I'm also going to go ahead and stamp one more thing before we put away my ink. This is Mento ink, Tuxedo Black. I'm going to stamp the tiger. I've got all the other stamps done already, but I want to show you how I do this. Let me bring this back in here, and I just inked this up, so I don't want to have it too much, so it looks like it's settled down some. And then I'm just going to stamp this on here and try and center it. Didn't really give myself a lot of room here, did I? I'm going to see if I can't lift it up without getting ink on everything. There. And then we are done with this. That was the Tuxedo Black that we used. And then I am going to stamp off on this and scrub this. In a little bit I'll have this over to the side so that I won't have to open it up every time. But this is the best way to clean these stamps. I really love this. I had sprayed this with our Stampin' Mist. Let me get that for you. This right here. You saw me scrub it and then put it in our dryer right there. And the way I know how to do that, which side I put the mist in is there's a raindrop here. So that means that's the wet side, and here's the sunshine, so that's going to be the dry side. And I'm going to leave this down here in case I need to use it while I'm coloring this. And I'm going to color this for you, and I'm going to use Stampin' blends for that. And I've got light pumpkin pie, dark pumpkin pie, and then dark Cajun Crage. I'm going to use the dark pumpkin pie pretty much for all of this. So I'm going to go down here. Let me bring my other one in so we can see how we did that. I'm going to bring that up here. Before I go much farther, I'm going to color in his nose and make it black using the Stampin' Right markers. There we go. And then I'm going to finish coloring the tiger in. Now I could have just went between the stripes, the black stripes, but you can also go over at the top of it, and it's fine. That's why I used the Memento ink, because it'll accept the alcohol markers and won't smear. So I'm not going to color his belly. I'm going to leave that white. So I want to color his other leg down here. Now I'm not going to go over the black for his nose because that's Stampin' Right markers. So that's not an alcohol marker. So it would smear if I started going over that with this alcohol marker. I want to leave the nose and some of the forehead white, and I'll blend that forehead down into the card. So I have my dark Cajun Crage, and that's how I got the shading to work on this card. So I'm going to go underneath the stripes here and right around here where the leg meets. And under here the leg meets, so above the stripe and underneath it. And underneath it, and then a little bit under the paws there. And I'm just going to go right along the back line here. And right around here under his chin. And then I'm just going to go over his whiskers. And I meant to keep these white, and I colored over them, so I am going to use a gel pen to fix that. So next I want to take my light pumpkin pie. So I'm blending this in. It is going to give me some highlights in his coat because it's lightening it a little bit. And now I'm going to bring this down just a little bit and come straight above his eyes. Let's do a little bit right by his ear again with the color lifter, and that should be good. All right, so next we want to cut him out. So what I did is I have a template. So I'm going to tape this down, and you'll see in just a second. I'm going to use our cut and emboss machine. And I'm going to tape this down. So I'll tape the bottom one down first, so that won't move on me. And we're going to tape this down, and this will allow me to see where my cutting is going to be done. And I am going to go ahead and do the back of his coat again. Right here. There. I don't know if you can see that. The tail is not lined up right, so I'm going to lift it up a little bit. And so I've got a little bit of white showing around on all of these. I like that positioning. I'm going to take another piece of tape and tape it down over the top of that. Let's reinsert that one and a piece over here too. Now this tape I'm using is tape from Post-it, and it is a label and cover-up tape. A little bit goes a long way, and it doesn't leave any marks. So I'm going to just go one more time. And I don't need that there because I want to drop my blade in there. So let me come back out here. Okay, let me go up here. I'm going to bring their die and put that in there. And it's just going to pop right into place. You can feel it when it goes right in the right spot. And then I'm going to put the other plate on top. And then all you have to do is crank it out. So that's our template. I'm going to hang on to that because I may want to do another tiger some point in time. And here's the other one. And I'll hang on to this one too because that'll hold up really nice. Okay, so I went ahead and did that for all these other ones. Let me show you those. This is the alligator, and then the alligator, I used the dark granny apple green for the shading, and then the light granny apple green for the rest of the alligator. And then the next piece is our toucan, and that I used dark Tahitian Tide, dark Daffodil Delight, dark Real Red, then the Pumpkin Pie in dark, then the dark Parakeet Party, and then for the tip of his nose was the Highland Heather in dark. And then the last one was the Sloth. And the Sloth I used dark and light crumb cake for this one. But if you look at the Sloth here, he's a lot darker. And if you want to do a darker one, use dark pecan pie and light pecan pie. And then I just went over it with the color lifter and tried to lift off some of the color throughout the Sloth. So let me put this back over here. The paper we need is Granny Apple Green, and we need it cut at 6 inches by 6 inches, which I did. Or that'd be 15.2 centimeters by 15.2 centimeters. And then we need to score it at 1.5 inches. This is my trimmer that I'm using, and I really like it because I can do trimming and scoring all in one place. And these are the blades I have on here. Comes with these two. This is the scoring blade. This is the trimming blade. But I stuck on another blade, which is also a trimming blade, but I wrote on there glitter because I use that when I'm cutting glitter paper so it doesn't dull my trimming blade right away. When I push them up and down, that will be all the way out of the way. Here's my 1.5 inches, and I'm going to score that. Then I'm going to move it out to 4.5 inches. And you could just flip the paper over and score it at 1.5 inches. That would work as well because it's going to be 1.5 inches to here. Then you need to turn it and cut it in half. That's going to be 3 inches. 3 inches is going to be 7.6 centimeters. And that's my scoring blade. So let me go and do my cutting blade. Then I also have a piece of lemon lime twist, and this is done the same way. So we've got 2 pieces there that we had cut, and I'm going to tell you a little bit more about what we've already done. We need to have cut 4 pieces of Granny Apple Green, and this is the brights that I used, and I'm going to use this side of it. This is the Granny Apple Green, and this is the Lemon Lolly Twist, and we need 4 pieces of these, and this is 1.25 inches by 1.25 inches or 3.2 centimeters. And I've already got that cut. And then we needed this piece here, and that is 1.25 inches by 2 3/4 inches. And I have 6 of the Granny Apple Green and 4 of the Lemon Lime Twist. And then we also needed to have 6 pieces of Basic White, and I already did the blending brush on these. I have 6 pieces of them cut at 2 3/4 inches by 2 3/4 inches, or 7 centimeters by 7 centimeters. And then we need 2 pieces here cut at 1.25 inches by 2 3/4 inches, and that would be 3.2 centimeters by 7 centimeters. And the rest I did using the die cuts. So we'll see those in a few minutes here. So next we're going to do our assembling of the card base. We need to have these cards here. And we're going to take this. I'm going to fold these before I go any farther. And I'm going to reverse the fold because this is going to keep it durable during the never-ending process when you're going through and opening all those different panels. And I probably should have did that before I cut these pieces in half, but I didn't. I went ahead and cut the paper before I did the folding. Okay, so those are all ready to go, and we're going to have them go like this. And this one we're going to do the same thing to. I could have had this done ahead of time. Sorry. So we're going to have it go like this first. The next what we want to do is we want to put our tear and tape on the 4 corners here. We'll do it here and here, and I'm going to do 2 rows right up to the score line. So let me get that going. We don't want that to go over the score line, so it's okay if it comes up short, and we don't want it to come out past the paper. So it's okay if we come up short. If you do that, it'll mess up your mechanism for the card. So the next are down here. So what I would say is put the card together. Put the card so that it looks like when you had it before you cut them. And then put the tape on there. I know this is tear and tape, but I have arthritis and I can't manipulate the tape to tear properly. Oh, wrong place. That'll be okay. I won't take the tape off because it'll stick. So I'll leave that extra strip on there and we'll just continue going on. So we are done with this. So what we want to do is we want to line our paper like this. So we're going to tape this onto here and this one onto here. But first I'm going to do this corner because we want to get it lined up properly. So let's take the tear and tape off here. I'm just taking off the paper seal. And then we'll take this and we're going to put it on here. And we're going to line up the seam so it's right at that point. We want to make sure it's lined up here and across the top. And we'll do the same thing down here. So we've got that lined up. And so what I'm going to do next is I'm going to take this and I'm going to put this here and I'm going to tape this with this paper tape to hold this in place because I don't want it to shift on me. I have that lined up and that lined up. So we should be good. Then all I need to do is bring this down and it should line up properly. It's just a hair off. And that could be in cutting my paper. And then here we're going to take the tape off again. And I'm going to take it all off here. Yeah, we do not want that off from there because that will mess up our mechanism. And now I'm going to line this up at the top here. And then it should line up just about the same as the other one did, leaving just a hair there. I'm going to flip this over and see how we did over here. So this is good. I see that's good. And that will work once I take this paper tape off. So these are not sticking. This is working. There's a little bit of stick there. Well, that's not working right. So we're going to have to adjust that. So I'm thinking that's if we trim that piece that's hanging over, that'll work. And then this will take us right back to where we were. See that it's a little bit too wide there, so I'm going to trim that off. And I'm going to use my guillotine because I can line that up and see where it's going to need cutting. I'm just going to take that little bit off there, and I'll actually take it into the lemon lime twist. Let's took that off, and let's see if it can behave better now. That works. That works. That works. So I have a little bit up this corner now, and you can see how I went off there a little bit. Let me go and take that from there, and I'm going to go into the Granny Apple Green because it was kind of taking that up too. So let me go. Now let's see. Here we go. Flip, 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 flip. Yeah, it's working fine now. Okay, let's go back here. So did you understand why I had to go and take that little bit off of those two sides? This one side, the bottom was sticking out just a hair. And so that was jamming it when we did the twist. And then this was not lined up properly. So that was jamming it in the twist too. So that I just had to take a hair off. And I can see that there's some up there, but it doesn't jam up. So we won't take anything where it doesn't cause a problem. So now we have this. We're going to do our designer series paper first. So this is the rectangles, and here are the squares. And here are the squares there. I'm going to put glue on the back of this. And I'm using this glue gun, which is from My Sweet Petunia. I used to use this glue gun. Then I put that in this bottle. And now I'm putting that inside this bottle. My arthritis has gotten so bad that I can't even squeeze these bottles anymore. And it is this same glue here. So it works the same way. So we don't need a whole lot of this. That works great with this glue gun because I can get a really fine stream there. And then you can make little dots if you want. If you need little dots, that works too. There's a base here that you set it in, and it pinches off the edge so that it doesn't plug up. Okay, I'm going to get this down, and I hope my head's not in the way. And I'm just going to center that, and that'll leave 1/8 of an inch or 0.3 centimeters on all four sides. And I'm going to do that for all of these now. And I'm going to use my bone folder just to get all the extra blue bubbles out. Make sure it's not oozing anywhere, because I don't want to have it start oozing and then I'm going on to the next panel and then it'll close up on itself. So I don't see any oozing. So I'm going to go ahead and open it to the next section. And we have these panels here. So let me see. We did it. Let me do it this way. So we're going to open it up to the next section this way. And then we're going to have this panel. And I'm going to just go ahead and reinforce these here. So now we're at this point. And now we can take this and see what damage it's going to do. We'll have to try and get the glue off from there. We really just needed the final 1/8 of an inch off from there. And then we'll go back in. I'm going to go back to the beginning. So we're going here, then we're going here, so it's side by side, and then this way. So then we're going to use the square ones here. And I'm going to just burnish this again. Just making sure that everything is nice and tight. Okay, let's bring that back. Okay, now we're going to do this. We'll assemble all our panels here. So I'm going to bring this back to our first panel. It'll probably be off camera, so you won't be able to see it because I want to leave this up here. These are all our panel pieces. And as you can see, I use this for our designer series paper for the outer border. The reason I chose it is because I thought it was like rays of sunlight going through the forest. You know, this is supposed to be jungle, so. And this side was dots, which I could have done that as well. And it just would have been like a fun birthday card. Yeah. So we've got all these blues, and we're going to start with this blue. And all the paper that I had to die cut from this point forward, I used this, which is the leaves for the jungle. And I have it in 2 different shades here. And I've taken that from the Meandering Meadows Designer Series paper. We'll take this first piece here, and we've got the tiger we want to take. And I have a piece here in the background, and we have a piece in the front that he's going through too. I'm going to have him step through that, so I'm going to glue that right here. I'm just putting a little dabs of glue behind that because I want these leaves to be loose. And that's going to come down here. And we can maybe do this up here like that. And I'm just going to do a little bit here. And I'm going to cut this one off because I'm going to just glue one of these on right over the top of this. I wanted that to be glued from the back right here. There. But it looks like it's coming right out of nowhere, so we're going to put a little one down here. There we go. We'll do one like this. I think that'll work. I'm just going to get the inside. There. And I'm just rubbing this off to get that glue off from there. And now I'm going to see, I think we have to cut this off over here. Right about here. Well, let me do that. Let me glue this down. There. And then we're going to need something down here. I'll tell you what I was looking for was a piece of coloring to go underneath here, and I did find it. So let me get this. I'm going to put this back here to cover up that blue there. Let me just get some glue on here. That worked. And then I want to put a piece right here. I'll just stick that in there. And hopefully it's big enough. And then we can put this piece right here on the end. I think we're looking at this one. Right there. I'll put that like that. So I'm basically covering up the blue paper where it's starting from the base here. So to trim that up so it doesn't go beyond our card base, I'm just going to turn it over and trim it along the card edges. Like snip that off, snip that off, snip this off. And we'll do this one here, here, and here. Then we can fit that there, and I'm going to stamp it with our sentiment first before we glue that down. So let me get our sentiment here. We have our Hey There, which is taken from the Charming Sentiments right here. I should have did this first because if I mess it up, I'm going to have to take the whole card and start over. And then we can just put glue on the back. And I'm going to put it on here so it's centered. That leaves about 1/8 of an inch for a border, or 0.3 centimeters. I'm more looking at that these align right here, and down here. I noticed this isn't quite 1/8 of an inch, but this is the 1/8 of an inch. So remember, we did trim off some of that, so that's probably where I lost my spacing. Then we've got our next card, which is going to be the alligator. And I already have that stamp for you. Let's see. We'll glue that down. Again, we want 1/8 of an inch for a border, but more importantly, I'm lining it up with the top of the card up here and the bottom of the card. So that happens to be about 1/8 of an inch. So I'm lining this up here and down here, and then these here and here. I'm going to put this on here for right now. Our next card is going to be the sloth, and then we can put them on the inside of this card. So let's go ahead and do that. Again, it's going to be 1/8 of an inch for a border on all 4 sides. So I'm just basically centering that one. The next piece, I'll make sure I get it lined up better. And I've already assembled the Toucan Sam for the next piece. Let's go ahead and put this down. So again, I'm lining this up toward here, right there and there. And I don't care so much, but this is lined up. This is lined up, and this happens to be lined up. So nothing to line up in the center. And then I'm just going to fold on to the next piece, and that is Your Most Awesome. Now you see the flowers hanging over, but that's okay because it's not going to be too much. I'm going to have that lined up there. That's 1/8 of an inch between those two and these here and here. And we're going to do the next piece down here. I'm going to put glue on the back of this now. I forgot to put the gem on there, but we can get that here in just a second. I'm lining it up from here. And then these here. There. And we'll put our gem on. Oh, I like that. And I have 2 more coming up yet. Right here we are. And that is going to be our Toucan Sam again. Okay, so this one we can put right here. I'm going to do that right now, as long as it's ready to go. And then we're just going to have 1/8 of an inch for a border. So basically, like I'm centering it in here. And it looks like it's a little bit less than the 1/8 of an inch. But remember, this is the panel I think that we had trimmed off quite a bit. Now you can look in like your Fruit Loops box to see how to color him. That's what I did. And then for the tiger, I looked at the Kellogg's Frosted Flakes. Okay, I'm going to put glue back on here. So I'm lining it up at the 1/8 of an inch at the top there, at the bottom, and the 2 sides there. Okay, let's take a look at this. I'm going to get this out of the way. Let's start right here. We got, hey there, wishing you everything wonderful. You're simply marvelous. You're the most awesome. Big hugs. Nothing's fancy, just love. Happy birthday. In this one, it's the same, except for nothing fancy, just love. And then I don't have happy birthday there, because this is going to that girl that had that health problems. I want to show you another card I did. This one is a belated birthday card. It says, I didn't forget your birthday. I'm just stretching out the celebration. Then it says, let's get our celebration on. Happy birthday. And there's nothing written here, but I could write my sentiment there if I want. And then on the back, we have, hey there, woohoo, there. We're using the Something Fancy Cling Stamp set for this sentiment. I didn't forget your birthday. I'm just stretching it out. And then Charming Sentiments, we use the woohoo and hey there. And then the Beautiful Balloons, we use Let's Get Our Celebration On and the Happy Birthday. And then the Designer Series paper, we use the Zoo Crew and then the Bright and Beautiful Designer Series paper. Well, I hope you enjoyed watching this project as much as I enjoyed crafting it. Why don't you give it a try? Now, if you enjoyed today's video, would you do me 2 favors? Click the thumbs up emoji, which means you like it, and would you share it on social media with your crafting friends and pin it to Pinterest? These actions will help me to keep sharing my ideas with other crafters for free, and I'd really appreciate that. Be sure to hit the subscribe button below so you won't miss any future videos. If you have any questions, be sure to contact me. And if you don't have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, I'd love to be your demonstrator. Just reach out to me. If you'd like to place a Stampin' Up! Order or would like a catalog, hop over to my website where you'll find the Shop Now button. To shop with me, you'll need to go to joanheberlein.stampinup.net. Mark your calendars. I'll be back next Sunday, February 18th at 7 p.m. Central Time, and we'll be doing another project from the new mini catalog. I hope you'll be here to join me. Thanks so much for being here with me tonight. I look forward to next time. Bye for now, and don't forget to subscribe.